Mars looks dead. But dead worlds can still hide bodies. A frozen desert, a world of red dust, shattered rock, and temperatures cold enough to kill an unprotected human within minutes. Its atmosphere is barely there. Its surface is exposed to radiation from space. No forests, no oceans, no visible movement except for dust devils and the slow passage of robotic explorers. But Mars was not always like this. Billions of years ago, rivers cut through its valleys. Water collected inside enormous lakes. Rain or melting snow may have fed streams that carried sediment across the landscape. For long periods of time, at least some regions of Mars possessed the water, chemistry, and environmental stability required for life. So, what happened? Did Mars simply grow cold and lose its atmosphere through natural planetary evolution? Or are we looking at the ruins of a world that suffered something far more violent? In 2026, a NASA-led study reported something unusual about organic material discovered by the Curiosity rover. Researchers examined large carbon-based molecules preserved inside ancient Martian mudstone. After considering several non-biological processes that could have created or delivered these compounds, they concluded that the processes they studied could not fully explain the estimated amount of organic material originally present in the rock. That does not mean NASA discovered life. Organic molecules are not the same thing as living organisms. They can be created by geological reactions, delivered by meteorites, or formed through chemistry that has nothing to do with biology. Mars may also have chemical processes that scientists do not yet understand. But the discovery left an important question open. If the known non-living explanations cannot account for all of the material, what else happened inside that ancient Martian environment? The mystery grew even deeper when scientists identified several organic molecules that had never before been detected on Mars. And only a year earlier, NASA had described unusual mineral and chemical features inside a rock known as Cheyava Falls as a potential biosignature. Potential is the critical word. A potential biosignature is not proof of life. It is a feature that could have been produced by biological activity but might also have a non-biological explanation. Scientists need much more evidence before reaching a conclusion. Still, the pattern is becoming difficult to ignore. Mars once had water. Mars once had habitable environments. Mars contains preserved organic chemistry. And some of that chemistry remains unexplained. Scientists are understandably cautious. They talk about ancient microbes, unknown reactions, and molecules transported by asteroids. But outside conventional planetary science, a far more dramatic question has existed for decades. Are our rovers searching for the first evidence of simple Martian life? Or are they driving across the roof of something much older, an ancient world that disappeared beneath the surface? To understand why that idea remains so powerful, we have to imagine Mars as it once was. More than 3 billion years ago, Gale Crater contained rivers and long-lived lakes. Jezero Crater held a lake fed by a river that constructed a massive delta. Water moved rocks, deposited layers of sediment, and created environments where organic material could be trapped and preserved. Ancient Mars was not necessarily a perfect twin of Earth. Its climate may have been colder, more unstable, and more hostile than popular illustrations suggest. But it was unquestionably more Earth-like than the planet we see today. Then the environment changed. Mars lost its global magnetic field. Without that protection, its upper atmosphere became increasingly vulnerable to charged particles streaming from the sun. Over immense periods of time, solar radiation and the solar wind helped strip atmospheric particles into space. As the atmosphere thinned, liquid water became increasingly unstable on the surface. Some escaped into space. Some became locked inside minerals. Enormous quantities froze beneath the ground or inside the polar regions. The rivers stopped flowing. The lakes vanished. The surface became cold, dry, and exposed. From the scientific perspective, this was a planetary transformation that unfolded across geological time. Mars did not necessarily die in a single night. Different regions may have remained wet or habitable for different lengths of time as the planet gradually changed. But ufology and alternative history propose a darker version of the story. According to the ancient Martian civilization theory, Mars was once home not merely to microorganisms but to intelligent physical beings. These alleged Martians built settlements, developed advanced technology, and spread across a planet that still possessed water and a substantial atmosphere. Then, according to the legend, their civilization destroyed itself. Some versions describe a conflict between competing Martian societies. Others describe an interplanetary war involving civilizations from outside Mars. The most extreme versions suggest that nuclear or even more powerful weapons devastated parts of the planet, accelerated its environmental collapse, and left the surface contaminated. Supporters of this idea sometimes point to unusual isotope ratios in the Martian atmosphere, particularly involving xenon. A small number of proponents have argued that these ratios resemble products associated with nuclear processes. But this interpretation is highly controversial. Planetary scientists can explain Martian xenon through natural processes connected to the planet's formation, radioactive decay, interactions between the crust and atmosphere, and the gradual escape of atmospheric gases. There is no scientific consensus that Mars experienced an artificial nuclear explosion, much less a war. Yet the theory asks a compelling question. If an advanced civilization realized that its atmosphere was disappearing, or that a catastrophe was about to destroy the surface, what could it have done? Leaving the planet would require enormous resources. Remaining on the surface would mean extinction. But there would be a third option. Go underground. This is where scientific possibility and ufological mythology begin looking in the same direction. Mars contains strange, dark openings that may lead into caves or ancient lava tubes. These structures were created when the planet was more volcanically active. Rivers of molten rock once flowed beneath hardened surfaces. When the lava drained away, it could leave enormous hollow tunnels behind. In some locations, sections of the roof later collapsed, producing openings known as skylights. From a scientific perspective, these caves are extremely valuable. Rock above a cave could provide protection from cosmic radiation, solar particles, meteorite impacts, and extreme temperature changes. Underground environments may also preserve ice, organic molecules, or geological records that have been destroyed on the exposed surface. Some scientists have proposed that if Martian microbes are still alive today, the best places to search may be beneath the soil, under layers of ice, or inside protected underground environments. On Earth, life has been discovered in places once considered almost impossible. Inside deep rock, beneath glaciers, in extremely acidic water, and around volcanic systems without sunlight. These organisms do not need cities or machines. They survive by extracting energy from chemical reactions in their environment. So, underground life on Mars is not automatically science fiction, but ufological accounts take the idea much further. They claim the caves are not empty geological formations, but entrances to vast artificial networks. According to these stories, survivors of the ancient Martian catastrophe retreated underground and constructed enclosed cities where temperature, pressure, and air could be controlled. Over thousands or millions of years, these beings supposedly adapted to subterranean life. Some descriptions portray them as pale humanoids with large eyes suited to darkness. Others describe beings physically similar to humans but technologically far more advanced. Certain accounts even suggest multiple Martian populations, some indigenous to the planet and others descended from visitors who arrived from somewhere else. None of these descriptions has been independently verified. We have no confirmed image of a Martian being, no recovered Martian technology, and no publicly available evidence of an underground city. But that has not stopped the story from expanding. The most controversial version involves the alleged secret space program. According to former military personnel, self-described insiders, and supposed participants in classified projects, certain factions of humanity developed technology capable of reaching Mars long before any publicly announced crewed mission. These claims describe hidden bases, underground facilities, technology exchanges, and cooperation between human organizations and non-human civilizations. Some stories even allege that personnel were transported to Mars, served for years in secret programs, and later returned to Earth with altered or suppressed memories. These accounts are dramatic. They are also unsupported by reliable, independently verifiable evidence. No confirmed documents demonstrate the existence of a human colony on Mars. No publicly examined material proves that a government or private organization has secretly transported people there. The stories often contradict one another, and many depend entirely on personal testimony that cannot be tested. But perhaps their popularity tells us something important. Human beings have always looked at Mars and imagined another civilization looking back. Before spacecraft reached the planet, astronomers thought they saw artificial canals crossing its surface. Science fiction transformed those lines into cities, armies, and dying societies. When probes revealed a barren landscape, the Martians did not completely disappear from our imagination. They moved underground. And strangely, that is also where modern science increasingly believes the best chance of finding life may exist. Not intelligent beings operating hidden machines. Not necessarily survivors of an ancient war, but perhaps microbes sheltered inside ice, protected beneath rock, or preserved in underground water that has remained isolated for millions of years. Science searches for microbes. Ufology searches for survivors. Both look downward. That does not make the two explanations equally supported. One is based on testable biology, geology, and planetary data. The other remains a collection of stories, interpretations, alleged testimony, and speculation. But Mars has not yet revealed enough of its subsurface for us to know exactly what is there. Our orbiters can photograph openings from above, rovers can drill a few inches into selected rocks, radar can reveal buried layers and possible structures, but humanity has never entered a Martian cave. We have never explored a deep lava tube. We have never drilled far enough beneath the surface to search an entire protected ecosystem. In a sense, we have only scratched the dust covering the planet. Imagine what the first explorers might find when they finally descend into one of those openings. Perhaps there will be nothing but volcanic rock, frozen soil, and darkness. Perhaps they will discover liquid water containing simple organisms, the first confirmed alien life in human history. Perhaps they will find fossils proving that Mars once developed its own independent biology. Or perhaps, buried beneath billions of years of dust, they will discover something that nature alone cannot easily explain: a shaped wall, a manufactured object, a chamber that was sealed before humans existed. That possibility remains speculation, but it is the possibility that makes Mars more than a scientific destination. Mars is a planetary crime scene, a frozen archive, and perhaps a warning. A world can have rivers, lakes, an atmosphere, and the chemistry of life, and still lose almost everything. The greatest mystery may not be whether Mars once lived. The evidence already tells us that it was once far more capable of supporting life than it is today. The real mystery is how far that life may have progressed before the environment changed. Was ancient Mars inhabited only by chemistry, waiting to become biology? Did microscopic organisms appear and then vanish? Could life have survived beneath the surface until the present day? Or did something intelligent once stand beside a Martian lake, look into the night sky, and wonder whether it was alone? For now, curiosity and perseverance continue moving across the surface, examining ancient rocks one sample at a time. They may be exploring the remains of a lifeless chemical world. They may be searching through the fossilized traces of an ancient biosphere. Or, as the most daring theories suggest, they may be driving across the roof of a civilization that never truly disappeared. When human explorers finally reach Mars and begin drilling deep beneath its surface, we may find only ice and stone. But we may also discover that the red planet has never been as dead as it appears. What do you believe? Are the organic compounds and potential biosignatures signs of ancient microbial life, unexplained Martian chemistry, or the faint remains of something far more advanced? Share your theory in the comments, and subscribe for more investigations into the mysteries hidden beyond Earth. Until next time, keep looking beyond the official answers, but never stop asking what the evidence truly shows.